Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby Games. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
We are here to do a fantasy preview of the Rugby World Cup, mostly concerning the Rugby Magazine. Our friends over at the Rugby Mag have been very kind to us, as we said on our finale last year, so we are definitely going to be helping them out as much as we can.
Absolutely.
And
I don't know why you would pick another site for a fantasy rugby.
They're good.
Cool.
They did well by us for sure.
Yeah.
And we talked about this on the last one. I am definitely going to be looking forward to being able to tell both with this and then when we get into Premiership and Super Rugby Mag stuff, who's starting and who's not, just by looking at my team, because it'll highlight it. And I'm like, yes, that's what I needed so badly, because
no more going to
you were
Twitter.
Doing
I was doing a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I was going to Twitter and then putting them into the spreadsheet.
Oh man,
which was easy after the first one was
the initial setup. Yeah,
but then they picked the similar 23 and maybe have a couple of guys at the bottom that you can pull up. But yeah, it's a lot of work that I'm glad I don't have to do anymore.
Right. Yeah, and there'll be a few things that help me out with my stats and all that stuff from that upgrade. So yeah, if you're looking to give yourself a little bit easier time when you play fantasy rugby, definitely consider the upgrades. They have 3 different levels, so it'll fit your budget. I promise you it'll be worth it if you're really into this stuff. And, well, if you're listening to us, then you're at least somewhat into it. So, or you're out of your mind, which is also a possibility. But
or you're going to be into it. You're trying to learn from people.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, check them out. Want to crack open something here? Yeah.
Don't have to ask me twice. This one's Canadian.
Allegedly. Yeah, everybody make sure you're subscribed to us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. Download us and check out that pretty new logo that we got.
It is quite sexy.
Yes. It's a rugby ball with a budgie on. Why not?
Why not?
It's absolutely going to be hot. That's going to be some hot stuff right there. So, no news and notes to really get into.
No, nothing new from our last pod to this one.
Yeah. Although, possibly some sort of swirling around of Sonny Bill might be hurt for New Zealand.
That's per normal.
I mean, yeah, he's usually he's been banged up a lot.
Right.
So, I mean, they'll play him off the bench in the South Africa match, and then they really don't need to use him again until the quarterfinal, probably.
Exactly. So he can
rest him.
He can rest up. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be okay. So that'll be interesting. Make sure you go onto the Rugby Mag site and sign up for fantasy, and you make sure you register for our league.
Yeah.
We have a good number. I actually
Bring it.
Checked. Let me see if I can check how many we have here real quick, and try not to consume too much time with it. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 14. Nice. Yeah. So thanks everybody that signed up so far, and we're open for more. So please sign yourselves up. All that good stuff. So yeah, this will be a designed fantasy episode. We won't have designed fantasy episodes, but obviously our episodes will have plenty of fantasy insight from here out. But today is going to be really about trying to help you build your team, and also who to lean on come week 1, which will start Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray!
Yay!
Really early Friday for us.
Yeah, very early. I'll wake up and
I will be just getting to work, but I will probably pop it on.
Might pop it on before I head off to work.
Yeah.
Which I still have to buy the package because I'm not looking forward to that.
No, I know it. Sorry, we'll
deal with that later.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, it's happening.
We'll make it happen.
Just a little, as much as we love all these other organizations, a little bit of a fuck you to NBC Sports.
Yeah. Well, as I stated, somebody was talking about the price of it, and I was like, listen, the day it's on like cable TV here in the States, I'm going to drink a lot of fucking whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So we had a fun Twitter question posed by our friend Malcolm. and I answered it, so I'll give my answers first, and then we'll do the big reveal because you didn't answer it because you were a funny person and tease the pod.
Hell yeah!
Answer.
Make sure people listen. They want to find out.
This is what you find out right here.
This is where you find out.
So I was brave and answered it right then and there. Somebody took my first answer for the premiership, and they said Thacker, which is obviously. So the question was, if the Rugby Mag were to do a draft format, who would be your first round pick? Using Rugby Mag scoring.
Your first over. If you have the first pick in the draft,
your pick
of anybody, who would you make it?
Somebody said Thacker, and I was like, oh, okay, this could be fun. But then I was like, damn it, I can't say Thacker now because somebody said it. So it was 3 different formats: World Cup, Premiership, and Super Rugby. So for World Cup, I said Cobus Reinach because he was obviously on fire in the Premiership, and then if he plays against the lesser games, in the lesser games, then he'll probably light it up pretty good.
Right.
So I said Cobus Reinach for the World Cup. For Premiership, since he's not on the plane, I said Rory Hutchinson.
A good one.
Who's gonna he's tearing up trees for Saints. He's scoring points at a pretty damn good clip.
Yep.
So he'll be a huge asset to them, having not gotten on that plane to Japan for the start of the Premiership season. And then Super Rugby, the one guy who we talked about guys that were left home last episode, but the one guy that for me for New Zealand, why the fuck you left Nanai Laumape at home? I have no idea. Like, I don't love Jack Goodhue, and I don't think he's that bad, but that's who I would have said nah to, Right. That's really who I would have said nah to. Like, again, he's not bad, but
he just not a world beater.
Is just such a
Laumape, like Goodhue in space is amazing, but I'm not sure he's going to be the one that can do all the things that Laumape can do.
Right.
Like, as far as putting himself into space, creating a hole.
He makes a hole.
Yeah.
So those were my answers: Cobus Reinach, Rory Hutchinson, Nanai Laumape. So the big reveal. What did you pick out?
So I want to go through my approach to this, especially for the World Cup, because I think that you have to take into consideration that who will play in these games. So what I'm looking at is teams that and I'm assuming that this pool would go all the way through to the finals, and it would just be how many points you got. And so my my criteria would be I want a team that's gonna go past the quarterfinals.
Yep.
I want a team that's gonna be playing competitive games throughout and it's gonna need to put up points to make sure that they get the point differential needed to advance and whatnot.
Yep.
And win their bracket or come in second if they have to. So what I'm looking at, I narrowed down the teams to, England, New Zealand, Wales, South Africa, and I'm looking at France and Ireland too, because even though we didn't pick them in our last pod,
right,
they could still get there.
They could still get there.
It could happen. So from England, I'm looking at guys like Itoje, May, Tuilagi, Ford, Courtney Laws, who are going to be getting significant playing time, and they're in a pool where they're not really going to be able to rest because that point differential is going to come into play likely.
Right.
New Zealand, it's hard between Barrett and Moanga. There's value there, and Sevilla, as we talked about last pod, also good value there.
He's going to play a lot.
Then with Wales, I'm looking at Dan Bigger, Alan Wynne-Jones, Gareth Davies. Alan Wynne's going to be running that line out. He's going to be playing significant minutes. I think he's going to be one of these guys like, you fucking take me out. I fucking dare you take me out.
I want you to try.
Right.
I want you to try.
And then with South Africa, it's kind of hard because it depends on who they're going to play. They can kind of have a little bit of a walk.
They could easily rotate their squad and not drop a thing.
And I think my theory is that Quagga Smith's going to end up getting significant playing time.
I think he is too.
So he would be, if I was looking for anybody out of South Africa, I'd be looking at him.
Yeah.
And then with France, I'd be looking for Vahamena.
Hopefully he doesn't throw one of those garbage passes again.
And then Ireland, Ian Henderson, Rob Carney, Peter O'Mahony, and Connor Murray.
Connor Murray's not bad.
Right. So all those are good options. If this league includes the knockout rounds, then I'm going with Itoje.
Maro Itoje.
If it doesn't, then I'm gonna go with George Ford as my attacking 10.
Okay.
Because I think he's gonna gain a lot of meters and
On the front foot.
and set up a bunch of tries. I think.
Believe he was top 5 in
Yeah.
the Premiership for TRM last year. So
Right. So that's where I'm going. I'm sticking with the England because in that pool of death, they're going to have to be putting up points. So they're going to be playing those guys. So that I'm going with. I think I'd probably lean Ford.
Okay.
But again, because
he can fill a couple roles for you, like your kicker.
Right.
So yeah. What about
Premiership? So again, the criteria are didn't go to Japan and will score a shit ton of points.
Yes.
So in the like top 5 or 6 or 7, whatever I got here are Thacker, Ben Morgan, Ed Slater, Will Rowlands, Jack Yandel, because again, without Cowan-Dickey, he's gonna get significant points early.
Absolutely.
Alex Good and Danny Cipriani. And ultimately, I'm going with Thacker because one goes with Thacker in that situation.
Yes, I cannot blame you for that whatsoever.
No.
Those hooker lineout points are huge, man.
And Super Rugby it's different because you don't have to worry about competition this time. You did a little bit last time because a lot of the New Zealand players were getting rested for the World Cup.
Yeah, per Steve Hansen, and even Razzie Erasmus was having his thumb into South Africa a little bit too.
Right. But ultimately, with all those guys, I'd be looking at Richie Mo'unga and Damian McKenzie, which are both kind of injury risks.
Especially Mac, obviously.
Especially Mac, but Mo'unga doesn't seem to play a full slate terribly often. So ultimately, I'm going in a different direction. I'm going to go with Malcolm Marks.
Yes, that's a good shout. I like that.
A lot of line-out points, a lot of tries coming off of the mauls.
And he creates his own sometimes too.
Right.
So that's the good thing. He's not far from my boy Dane Coles, but yeah, he definitely is, and he's a huge part of that Lions team too. He really is. Like when he doesn't play, it's noticeable. It really is. So that's a big difference there for them. Yeah, I like the pick. I like the Malcolm Marks pick. It wasn't one in my brain, but I like it for sure. So we did, and then we had this asked before, and I think it's worth approaching it again because while with the Rugby Mag, and let's go over some of the Rugby Mag rules for the World Cup competition. You can pick a maximum of 3 players per country. You can have a maximum of 35. So in theory, you could pick like the big 9 or 10 nations and get most of your roster from those. But do you really want to? Because there's going to be a point where some of these guys don't play. Like some of these guys aren't going to play more than 2 games. Right. And that's not going to do you a whole lot of good.
No.
Now, which guys those are, I have no idea. Right off the top of my head, at least.
Right.
So you got to consider that. So you do need some tier 2 diamonds in the rough. And when we do starter sit later, we'll talk about it. So we'll definitely get into some of them because there's some countries that you got to kind of know about.
Yes, there are.
Anyway. One of the names that we brought up last pod was Joe Tafete from the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. If somebody added the total of the game against Scotland when the U.S. beat Scotland last summer, 2 summers ago?
Last summer I think.
Yeah, so somebody added those points up and they said he would have got 51. I was like, damn,
yep,
that's pretty good. So I like that. So that was a name to throw out there for sure. Takalua from Tonga, big time.
Yep,
that's another one. You need a scrum half, obviously,
right?
And there's a lot of scrum halves out there, but do you really? There's certain countries that you might not want to burn one of those 3 spots on a scrum half. So if you can find another one from a tier 2 country, then you'll be ecstatic.
Right, and we'll get that in big names to avoid.
Right.
Too.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah,
because there's a lot of countries that you're just not going to want to have their guys because whatever their pool is weak, so they might sit. You might get like 2 games, so they just don't even play.
Yeah. I would consider from our neighbors to the north a guy like Ardron. Mm-hmm. He's probably gonna play 8 for Canada.
Right.
He's obviously more productive at it. You saw when he played 8 for the Chiefs, how productive he was there.
And even so, with these second tier guys, especially for a team like Canada. I'd definitely be looking towards the forwards because there's guys who are going to be making tackles, a lot of tackles. So
and tackles count.
Tackles count. You want that.
Mm-hmm.
You might not see a lot of meters made or tries from Arjun, but
Yep.
He'll make tackles and he'll get his runs.
Yep.
He'll get his opportunities. It just depends, for those I would be looking at tackles and lineouts.
A tackle is 1 point. So if you do a Mark Wilson like he did against Italy and get 26 tackles, that's 26 points right there, baby.
Yep.
That's a quick ad right there. So keep that in mind, especially for some of these guys. You'll see some of the big boys that are making a lot of tackles, forwards and centers. I would anticipate on those the lesser known nations, for sure. So that's those are the guys that come to mind. Obviously, Nakarawa is going to be on everybody's freaking
right. So
list from Fiji.
Right. So I had a couple of guys like that. So I'd look at Samoa with the Bristol boys with their Jack Lamb, Chris Vui, Tusi and Fiji, Nakarawa, Ratunu Rayawa. Or I think I butchered that. Sorry.
No, I think you got that.
Mata, and then Ganeva, Matawalu, and Matavesi.
Yeah.
And then because you have to, at least if he's not on your roster just out of sentimentality, there's something wrong with you, and that's Michael Leach.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I love that, man.
There's a couple of guys that are in this tournament that they're gonna like we talked about Alan Wynne Jones. Yeah, take me out, I fucking dare you.
Yeah, he's probably one of them too. Yeah.
Right. That are going to basically be saying that. This is my last go at this. Or in Leach's case where he might do another one, but
he won't have the same
it's
role.
A reach. But this is his last in his prime go at a World Cup. So I think he's going to get significant playing time and going to do very well with it.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's a definitive guy that you need to put at the top of your list for a tier 2 country, for sure. Not only that, he's just an awesome person.
Right. I mean, because you want to root for him.
He's just an awesome person.
Yeah, there's everything good about that.
So with the diamonds in the rough, there's guys that are super shiny objects. But that's all they are, shiny. There's nothing else to them. There's really nothing else to them.
There's a lot of that in Tier 1, too.
No, that's what I'm thinking. Tier 1 for sure. There's a lot of tier 1 shiny objects. And for me, the big one that came to mind definitively was Manu Tuolangi. He is a monster. He is a monster, but he just, for whatever reason, he finds ways to not really let loose sometimes.
To me,
he did okay in the Six Nations, but
he did okay in Six Nations, but his play against Ireland, and just recently, overall this summer, was otherworldly. He hit another level there. If he can maintain that, then he's worth keeping an eye on.
Not wrong. No,
he looks like he's lost a little bit of weight.
Probably helps.
He looks like he's more mobile. So instead of being that battering ram where I'm going to run until someone tackles me, I'm going to run and then try to evade tacklers, and if he can maintain that, then he could be one to be looking at. Again, you can't expect that. It was a handful of not even a handful of matches.
Yeah, he's gonna play 2, maybe 3 games.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And that's the other thing. And he has one match every once in a while where you're like, God damn it, I wish I had him on my team. And then he suckers you in that one match.
Right.
And that's my concern with him. So that's me.
So there's other options too. So I agree. I would probably avoid him. Yeah. I'm going to give you 3 just on Ireland first. And that's Johnny Sexton, Keith Earls, and Jacob Stockdale.
I agree. Earls was never on my radar. Sexton, I'd say, is definitely a shiny object that you would be tempted to take, but also probably can afford to avoid. And then, Stockdale's. It's hard. It's a hard
just
sell.
A different. He was in the Champions Cup at the club level. They use him differently. They use him better than they do at the national on the national team. So,
I won't argue with that.
That's why I see Stockdale as a shiny object at this level. He could be great. He would be great, but they don't use him right.
Yeah, no, not wrong.
And then from the rest of the world, the 3 that I would avoid would be Owen Farrell, Faf de Klerk,
TJ
Perenara.
Yeah. Oh, see, and he could be. TJ's probably a little bit of
he's going to be expensive
50-50.
too.
Well, but there's no salary.
Right. Oh, okay.
There's no salary.
Oh, fucking A.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you'd be right if there was a salary involved. There isn't. So he might be worth it.
Maybe worth having around just in case. But I don't know how much he's going to play. And there's other guys who you could.
He's definitely playing in at least 2 games.
Right. But beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough to.
He'll be a reserve. But I don't think
he'll always be a reserve.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll probably always be the reserve. But how many minutes is he going to get?
Yep.
Versus that. I'm hesitant. I wouldn't have him. I'm not going to have him on my team.
No, and there's a lot of quality scrum halves out there to play that will play that you can between. For me, I'm going to carry three scrum halves on my team. Mm-hmm. So between the 3 of those, I should be able to find a starter every week.
Right.
So that's okay. As long as you know of a guy that can start you probably 3 games, and then at least you have one that can carry you through the knockout stage.
Yeah.
Then you're probably in okay shape there. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think, and I hate to say this about the guy. I think the Beast is a trap.
Oh, he's an absolute trap.
Machoera.
Oh no, he's a trap.
I think he's a wicked trap.
I
think he's
not
to burn a South African player, one of 3 on the Beast is probably not in your best interest.
Right. It's just not. He doesn't. It's same thing. There's a bunch of guys that are out there that are like this, where for a rugby club they do incredibly valuable things, but for a fantasy rugby team they don't do shit.
They won't do anything, and it's not unlike NFL fantasy.
Right.
You have players in NFL fantasy that. The name, and you're just like, yeah, I got this guy on my team, and everybody goes, why? He doesn't do a fucking thing.
Right. Like, but he's a good big name. Yeah, that's great.
Big
but yeah, it's the points you need, not the name.
Yeah.
The name doesn't get you any points.
No, it does not. That doesn't add up on the scoreboard.
And
Sorry,
so,
guys.
The Beast's rucks are very, very valuable.
To his club.
Yeah, to the club, but not in the team. But not right. So much to you in the scrums.
He's no longer that dynamic runner that he used to be.
No.
So that's definitely a big one for us, and I would anticipate running away from him in this one. So with that, let's do a little starter set.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, what I did was I'm not going to get cute and try and tell you too many guys no. Let's just put it this way. If I don't say a guy's name, start with caution. Start with caution. If I tell you yes, then you're probably okay to start him.
All right.
But if I tell you no, then if I don't say the name, just be cautious. I'm not telling you to pine them, but I'm telling you that there might not be as much there as you thought.
All right. I did it where I picked 1 or 2 guys to start or sit.
Yep.
So I'll give you in the game and for each team.
Yeah.
So I'll give you one for one team to have on your line or in your lineup, and one guy to probably store on the bench or just not have on your team.
Not have on your team. Yeah. So we'll kick it off with the opener, Japan and Russia. This was actually fun for me because I had to do a little research on Russia. For Japan. And keep in mind that's if these guys play. Mm-hmm. Okay, if we're saying yes,
we are recording this prior to the lineups being
way
released.
Before that. Just remember that. Okay, so Mafi, go. Moeakiola, go. Tanaka, yes. Henrik Tui, yes. Shigano, yes. I know that's multiple scrum halves already. Just play whatever scrum half plays against these guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Find the scrum half, play him.
Find the scrum half. Where is he? Michael Leach, as we talked about, yes. Nakamura, yes. Yue Halu, he had a couple of really good games for the Sunwolves, even though they didn't play him often enough. If he plays, definitely start him. Yu Tamura, who's probably going to play 10 for them, yes. I think this is going to be a wash for Japan.
Yeah.
So you want to back that with some guys that are going to definitely do the damage from them. For Russia, here's a couple guys had to really dig a little bit. There's one name that you'll probably recognize, Andrei Ostrakov, who plays for Sale. Second rower, he might play back row for Russia. If you are desperate for a second rower, that's probably not a bad idea.
Lineouts.
Yeah.
Lineouts all day.
Yep. Simplikevich, he had the last time Russia was in the World Cup, I think he had a couple tries for them. That could be a one that you kind of pull the rabbit out of the hat for right there. Vasily Artemiev, he actually did have a stint with the Saints once upon a time after their last World Cup, which was in 2011. Did well, scored a couple tries for Russia in the World Cup, scored some tries for the Saints. So again, if you need a rabbit out of the hat and you need a winger that's tier 2, this might be the way to go. And what was the other one? Strushka. He again, another guy that scored for them when they were last in the World Cup. Okay. Whether or not he plays, I don't know. Yeah. But again, if you're looking for desperation and for whatever reason you are desperate to start a Russian player, those are the guys that I would keep in mind. But again, if you're going to avoid most of Russia, maybe that's your best the best play overall.
Yeah. Best wishes for those who start a Russian in this tournament.
I commend you for your bravery, but that's about all I can commend you for.
Again, look for the guys who are the jumpers. Look for the guys who are their leading tacklers.
Yeah, that's a big one, and we'll get into that in a couple other teams here.
So I had Australia versus Fiji, which is a little bit easier to research on my end than that. For Australia, my start is Nick White, as we were talking about. As Nick White goes, so goes Australia.
Yep.
And he'll get plenty of opportunity. And I can't imagine that he would not be starting.
Right. Yeah. To lead off the World Cup, probably not.
And and my sit for Australia would be Kurtley Beale. Who?
Yeah, we know you're not a fan of him.
I'm not a fan of him at 15. I don't think he'll be. I actually don't think he'll be playing 15 in this game. I think they'll go with Haley Petty.
Yeah, probably.
Most likely. So, but I'm just not. I'm down on Kurtley Beale as an international 15. Not sure why they're going with it. They are.
Would
again, Czech letting the pressure get to him a little bit there.
Right. What about like Michael Hooper?
That's the thing. If
you're
about,
a Hooper fan,
now I would sit Michael Hooper in this game.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons, and the biggest reason should sound very familiar if you've been listening to me for the past 3 minutes, is he's not going to get many tackles.
Yeah.
Because Fiji don't take tackles.
They don't.
They offload it. They pop it out. They don't go to ground.
Yeah, they're
so
a pain in the ass with that.
This is a week to avoid guys who are big tacklers.
Okay.
Hooper will still probably get his carries and get his meters. I don't know if he'll get his tries. But he's gonna miss out on his tackles. So that's where I'm at with Hooper this week.
All right. Fair enough.
For Fiji, starting either Nakarawa or Mata. Yes, please.
All yes.
And I'm sitting Goneva.
Yeah, and he was a real disappointment for Newcastle this year, especially if you picked him up in the Premiership. Yeah. He was expensive in the Premiership.
Yes, he was.
Which has a salary one, and that was not good.
No. So I don't know how much he's going to produce against Australia.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm sure that'll be one guy that they have at the top of their list and keep him bottled up. So France and Argentina, a lot of names in this one that you can probably rock depending on whether or not they play. Dupont, Ituria, Serran, Penaud. Gregory Aldrit is a big one I would definitely keep on your team either way. He's going to do some damage for France this year. Guirado, if you need a hooker, that's probably your best option for them. Our friend Jefferson Poirot with the rainbow laces. He does have a good game now and again. Louis Picamol. Yeah, he's eligible all over the pack, right. So that does versatile. Provide value. Maxime Medard, Intimac if he starts, definitely. I'm gonna put a big no on Vamahina though, because he just scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I understand if you want to play him, but he just scares me to death. Guitoun, he was in a similar mold to Kobe for Toulouse in the Champions Cup and obviously in top 14. So I would put that in there along with Ramos and the newly eligible Vakatawa, who did a lot of great things for Racing. So I would, if any of those guys go ahead, do it. Like I said, there's only one hard no, and then that's Vamahina. He scares the daylights out of me. For Argentina, a bit overrated, and maybe he should have been in my big players to avoid. Gus Creevy.
Yeah,
he scares me a little bit.
Well, how much is he going to play?
Probably 2 games.
Yeah,
Probably the big 2 games.
They're gonna play him sparingly,
Right.
and even when he does play, is he gonna is he gonna start, and B, how long is he gonna go?
Right.
And if you have a hooker, the key, the one key here, especially for the front row, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what that changes, but when you play over 60 minutes.
It's for everybody, yeah.
Okay, it's for everybody. That's a big mark to hit, and I'm not sure.
Doesn't always do it.
I don't think Creevy's going to be playing 60.
Right.
I don't think he's going to get that bonus.
Yeah, so reconsider that. Delgui, Boffelli, both yes. Our buddy Juan Figalo. No, don't play him. Don't be tempted.
No.
Orlando, yes. Nicholas Sanchez, if that's your fly half, yep, go ahead. Pablo Matera, yes. Hard yes on him. Ramiro Moyano, Carreras, Cecino. If he ends up being the backup in this or the starter, I don't think he'll be the starting hooker. But even if he's the backup and you're trying to just look for somebody to play,
right?
If you have Santiago Cecino in your team, you're probably screwing up either way. Lozana, yes, go for it.
For New Zealand versus South Africa, this is going to be
So this will be a pretty deep conversation here.
Yeah. For New Zealand. There's 2 guys where I'm looking to start and probably get significant time on my roster throughout the competition, and one of them should be actually both of them, neither of them should be a surprise, and that's Dane Coles and Artie Sevilla. Hookers are
Love
sneaky points getters.
Yes, they do.
For that line out throws. That's why Thacker is so valuable. And Coles too is maybe one of the most dangerous hookers in the loose.
In the loose, yeah, absolutely.
And he will carve you up too. And Sevilla, that goes without saying. I mean, the guy he's going to get carries, he's going to get meters, and he's going to get tackles,
and he gets turnovers.
And he gets he basically does it.
He does. He's got all the categories.
Ticks all the boxes.
So yeah.
And my sit is Kieran Reid, because as we were talking about before, he doesn't do the things that get you fantasy points. Mm-hmm. He does amazing things that you need from your club. But he doesn't get the carries so much. He doesn't get the meters. He tackles, yes. Mm-hmm. But without all that other stuff, I'm not sure that he's worth.
Right. Unless he's doing a Mark Wilson making 26 tackles a game, it's really tough to start him.
Right. And then for South Africa, again, none of these should be a surprise if you've been listening to either so far this pod or the previous pod where we previewed the World Cup. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting Malcolm Marx and the back 3. I'm looking at all 3 of the South Africa's back 3 players.
Vermeulen, Sia, or Dutoit.
Whoever's starting. I'm looking at their whoever's starting in their back 3.
Quagga Smith will probably be involved in that somehow. And he's pretty good. Must have checked.
And then I'm sitting from South Africa. I'm sitting their starting 9. And that's again that tactical thought towards they might not play 60 minutes. You might let's say they start Faf. Why wouldn't at like 50, 55 minutes? Why wouldn't they bring in Cobus Reinach?
I mean, when you
maybe even
if that's your backup if that's your backup 9,
right?
Holy shit!
Yeah, like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you have a luxury at that point.
Right,
luxury for the coach, not for us.
Exactly. So that's you're getting kind of into in fantasy football. We have running back by committee, and you kind of have to handcuff guys, and you're like, oh, he's not going to get all the carries, someone else will. Same thing. That's what the South African 9 situation is. That they could go with any of them, and in any combination, they could split them halves. They could do whatever the hell they want to do, and not lose a little bit of form.
For sure.
So when you're at their mercy, I would hang back on the South Africa starting 9.
Fair
Probably
point.
all tournament, unless they're playing a shag team, in which case if you have Herschel Jenke,
maybe
you pick him up.
Herschel out there. Yeah, that's a good one. I would definitely.
He's the guy I would store on the roster. He'd be
like I said, I'll carry 3 9s.
Yeah.
He might be one of them for sure. And moving on to the most entertaining game of this pool stage. Not Italy and Namibia.
Oh. Barn burners.
Yeah.
Why are we even giving people advice on this one? They should know. They should. This is.
So, if you paid attention to the Six Nations TRM last time, Stain was actually one of the best scorers in the whole thing, let alone for Italy. So roll him out there if he's in there. Callum Brayley, Gloucester scrum half. Yep, play him. Federico Ruza played very well. Jaden Hayward, Kiwi, eligible via citizenship. I'd play him if you against Namibia. This is this is not against any of the other Bears.
You think Jake's gonna play?
I would play Jake Pellegrini. Yeah. I would definitely play. Yeah. If he plays, I would play.
Absolutely. It's just a question of will he play. Right. It's not even would you play? Oh, hell yeah, I'd play him if he plays.
If Geraldini is starting, I'd play him. I wouldn't start Parise. He's going to be a shiny object. He's going to be another shiny object that probably isn't worth starting.
And then they're not going to play Parise, and they might play. He might be like the last 5-10 minutes. To get him.
So again, just don't bank on him. Don't put him in your starting lineup thinking that he's going to play, because remember the lineups probably won't be released. At least that last one, Wales and Georgia, probably won't be released until after this. After the deadline's ticked over for TRM, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Leonardo Geraldini again. Tibaldi, their scrum half, if he plays. Yep, and Tommaso Allen.
Tomato.
Tomato
Allen. Tomato.
Yeah, tomato. So play that. Eugene Yanchis from Namibia. Yeah, I know the Yanchis. Jeez, who knew? And these are based on guys that either did well for Namibia last World Cup with tackles or scores. So those are the two keys that I was looking for in terms of my research with Namibia. One of these guys is probably going to turn into a diamond in the rough. I just don't know which one. So yeah, Eugene Yanchis, that's another one. Johan Dreisel, or Dreisel, whatever, however you pronounce it. I'd go with him as well. Johan Trump. There were like 5 Johans on this team. I'm not joking. Peter Jan van Liel would be another one for Namibia. Go ahead if you need a Namibian to roll out there. And Torsten van Jaarsveld. Those are the guys that either had a hand in their last World Cup with tackles or with scoring. Mm-hmm. So those are the guys that I was looking for. Their starting fly half from last World Cup, I don't believe, came back. So that was the one guy I was really looking for, and he's not there. So
a bit of turnover.
So yeah, a bit of turnover there. But yeah, I mean, listen, this is if you need tier 2 help, that's where you're probably finding it for Namibia.
Yeah.
And this is probably not a bad game to play somebody from that, because the likelihood of their production actually being relevant
it's not a terrible
high.
Option.
Yeah.
On to angry people who you can barely understand.
Georgia.
No, this is Ireland, Scotland.
Also that. Yes, also that. Usually they're hard to understand necessarily when they're angry, but when they're drunk.
Yeah. or both.
Or both.
So for Ireland, again, I'm looking purely at tackles here. I'm thinking and I'm thinking it's for me. I'm starting O'Mahony because he's gonna make a shit ton of tackles.
Yes, he is.
And I think we're talking about who's gonna run that line out. I think because you don't have a Devin Toner, he might actually be. And I know he's only 6'2", but they're not gonna use height to win lineouts. They're gonna use deception and put up anybody. So I think O'Mahony might actually get line out jumps and win some there.
What about
they'll spread out who's
Ian
actually
Henderson?
And Ian Henderson would be a good one too.
Yeah.
Again, same thing, tackles, and he's actually one that'll pull one over every so often.
He's decent in the loose too. Yeah.
He's extremely dangerous from 5 meters out. He's shown that time and time again. So that's definitely one to keep on your radar.
Yep.
And my sit is no surprise, Johnny Sexton. If you need a kicker, that's my one. Maybe pull him back into the lineup, but I would not.
Don't
be
bank on a lot
banking
of
on him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And for Scotland, I would start Stuart Hogg because Sexton's going to be kicking a lot. Hoggy will be back there chasing him down, and really all their back three. I think for
Scotland. Meters to gain right there.
Yeah. And my sit for Scotland is going to be an interesting one. I think you might be surprised, but Hamish Watson.
The Mish.
Yeah, because his value is much more on the attacking end. He's much more of a fucking dynamo runner, and he's in making meters. And Ireland is not the kind of team that he's going to
be able to run loose on. Yeah,
right. He's not going to be breaking their tackles because they're going to be doubling him and tripling him, and because that's what they do. And stopping his feet, which is really what kills him.
Right.
So
Get him going. He's tough to stop.
Right, like he's somebody I would have on the team, but not this week. Not for this match.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's not wrong. Okay, so now there's a lot of guys for this one. England Tonga. There's a lot of guys for this one. I would play if they start, but what I've done basically is gone over England's probably their best lineup in my estimation, and kind of flipped it.
Okay.
And said, you know what, I'm gonna go with the guys that probably aren't gonna start in this game, and I'll pick out the best guys out of that. So, come back here. Laws, yes,
okay,
absolutely. Jonathan, he's a beast in fantasy.
Just in many ways. Yep.
Jonathan Joseph, Lewis Ludlam, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Luke Cowan-Dickey, yep. Mark Wilson, we know he's a tackling machine. Pierce Francis is very productive, as we know. Rory McConaughey, yep, if he plays. Willie Hines, yes. Now there's other names that are on England's team that I would say yes.
My start for England is, you didn't even name him, is Kakanasiga.
If he plays, yeah,
I think he's going to be playing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I think he's going to be getting the ball a lot. And they like to feature him when he's in that area.
Yep.
Or when he's on the field, and especially in that attacking 22. That's the area I was thinking. They like to get him that ball and just have him.
Yep.
Power over the opposite wing and and put it over.
Right. And then for Tonga, Cooper Vuna I consider, but don't jump on it. Kurt Morath, who's probably going to play 10 for them. Again, I wouldn't jump on it, but if you need a 10 and you don't want it to be one of the other countries, that's probably not that might not be the worst option. Sam Lousy missed the entire Super Rugby season, unfortunately, with a really rough injury, but he should be good. Siali Piatau, the Bristol man. Yep. Sione Kalamafoni, he was my man in Premiership last year, and he was very good.
He was very productive.
He was pretty productive, so I would anticipate him being pretty productive here. Assuming he starts, Tane Takalua, definitely roll him in there. He's my start. Definitely roll him in there. For Tonga. Steve Maffey's pretty good, last I checked, so go ahead and do that. Talusa Vaianu, he missed a lot of the season for Leicester, so we'll see how productive he is, but he's on the ASI, like the gray area for me.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much that. And then we got Wales.
Oh, well, I still had I wanted to get my sits in for them.
Okay.
Which is for England, I would not put Launchbury on that field. I think he'll be playing in this game.
Yeah, he's not that valuable fantasy wise.
No, and he gets a lot of tackles.
Right.
But I don't think against Tonga they're going to tackle much. No. I think they're going to be holding the ball a lot, and so Launchbury's going to be rucking, not tackling, and that's not really valuable. And for Tonga, I would sit whoever's at hooker, because as we said, the hookers are incredibly valuable for the lineout. England's lineout is pretty okay.
Pretty good.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get a bunch of steals, and that does not bode well for your hooker getting fantasy points.
Nope, not at all. Was I supposed to do Wales, Georgia, or were you?
You were.
Okay, shit. My fault. My fault. I can run through the list here and tell you who's probably good and who's not. If Hadley Parks plays 10, who's going to play 10 for them if it's not bigger? Is it Patchell or is it Hadley Parks? Either one, I'd play him. Either one, I'd play him.
Right.
Whoever starts at scrum half, definitely play them for Wales against Georgia.
Whoever starts at hooker.
Yep, it probably won't be Ken Owens. It'll probably be is it D?
D. I see. Actually, I'm not certain about that because D has been starting for them in their summer matches.
They're not great.
And they've been going all right, but Owens hasn't been starting as far as I can tell.
Maybe maybe not yet.
So I think Owens might be their on their reserves for big games. So for this one, Owens might be the starter.
Fair. Reece Carr, our boy. I'd start him.
Yeah,
I'd start him for sure. He's he looks like he's going to be productive in the.
And he'll make his tackles because you know they're going to be. They don't have anywhere else to go, but in those big forwards.
Those big boys. And then Navidi's probably going to... I would anticipate Navidi playing a good chunk in this game, so I would definitely play him too as well. So those are the ones I'd play. Everybody else is kind of loosely in or out. I don't know. Maybe Corey Hill, if he plays, or Adam Beard. Those would probably be one of the other two second rows I would play. And if Alan Wynne Jones plays.
Yeah.
Obviously.
If he plays,
if he's in, you're starting him.
But then again, you watch out for him playing, but not finished. He might come out at halftime. Yeah, you're not going to get that 60-minute bonus for him.
Depending on the scoring there. So obviously for Georgia, it's going to be kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
Mamuka Gagodza, if you have to start a tier 2 guy and you need a second row loose forward type of guy, he's a good shout. Man. He's probably going to play 8 for them.
All right.
So that's probably where I would go with that. They had there was another one that they had that I was trying to think of too. They do have a couple other guys that are probably worth.
I'm going to butcher this guy's name, but what's it? Konstantin Mikhautadze? Fuck, I can't fucking pronounce his name.
Yep.
Big lock, plays for Montpellier.
Right.
Again, I'm thinking purely about the lineouts on that.
Yep, there you go. That's a good one. I like that shout. There's like 5 guys named Georgie on this team. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Georgie and your whole team turns around. It's like, what? There's one more that I was trying to think of, and I can't seem to find him on my list. Maybe I deleted him by accident. Or maybe he's not there. Koji Yashvili, I thought he was going, but maybe not. Either way, yeah. I'm sure these big Georgian props are probably going to be big ball carriers if I know how Georgia likes to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, Georgian forwards in general are probably going to have to make a shitload of tackles. So if you have a Georgian forward that's going to start in this game, not a bad idea. They'll probably get 10, 12 tackles easily without blinking because that's just what's going to happen.
Because the teams will be looking to make them make tackles and then speed around their backs.
And then shift the ball, yeah. So those would be the guys I would keep an eye out for them. So yeah, the two that we highlighted, the second row and the 8-man for them. And then yeah, if you really need their 10, I don't even know who the hell's going to play 10 for them honestly, but
I'm not sure. I wouldn't expect them to get many points kicking.
No.
I would look for their centers more than
that might be a good
than their 10s because their centers are going to have to make tackles. They're going to have to make tackles. So it's going to be the risk of do they actually make them? And if you think they can,
I mean.
Then go for it.
Graham Roundtree's the one that's in charge of the defense there. So if history shows anything, and he's a hard ass, and if I'm sure he's going to demand a lot out of these guys, and I'd say his defense is probably going to be nothing to sneeze at.
No,
so I'm sure
they're going to put up. They're going to
centers are going to be
right. They're going to put up a front, and that's why I'd go with those locks, loose forward centers as the tackle machines.
Right. So there's that. So my pick of the week, as we'll call it, called it the green light last year. I think I'm just going to call it the pick of the week. Basically, the guy that I would captain in this variation, assuming he starts, would be the man known as Courtney Laws.
Right.
That's who I'm.
Can't go wrong with him.
That's who I would captain if he starts.
He's the perfect guy to be playing in a match like this.
Right.
He even may get time at flanker, depending on if they want to just go big on him.
Yeah.
And which they might do because Tonga, there's Islander teams. They're strong in attack. They're not the physical type. So he can fucking run some people over and still play 6 and be all right.
Yep. Yes, he can.
And then my start of the week, and I think it's pretty clear that I'm favoring my hookers here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would either be Coles or Marks.
Okay.
I think those guys are gonna
both.
It's gonna be they're gonna put on a show.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna show up fantasy wise.
Yep. For me, the sit in this one, and I love him. Let me just start by saying this. I love this guy. My heart bleeds for him every time I see the man have to, as he goes through all his last this, last that, as he's going through the end of his career. I love him, but you got to pine Rory Best.
Yeah, you do.
I love him, and I just with the lineout questions that are coming through Ireland right now, I don't trust how good that's going to go, and he doesn't get it done in a lot of other areas besides that. So
struggle in betting against him, but if you're not really betting against him because you're just not starting him, I think that's probably smart. I wouldn't bet on him at this point.
Yeah,
it's as you said, it's a shame to say. I have all the respect in the world for him. He hasn't looked his best the last couple of weeks.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I was very subtle about it. And my sit for the whole entire week would be I think I'd go with Goneva.
Yeah, Nicky Goneva.
Yeah, he's a guy you want on your team.
Just not this round.
Not this round.
Yeah, and I had a hard time calling him for a sit last year, but it made sense in the end. You know teams are going to target him. Now it helps that they have some other very talented players on that team, but really in the backs, like the guys that you're going to be targeting, he's definitely near the top of the list.
Right.
In terms of if you're Australia.
And really outside of Kurtley Beale, I actually do like Australia's back three, plus their centers. So I just don't know how much room there's going to be for Goneva.
Yeah.
I just don't see him having the kind of impact that you would want from him.
Probably not. And I mean, I like their center combination, and we talked about James O'Connor last pod.
Right.
I think he provides something different from those center combination because the two centers, Kurandrani and is it Kepu?
I was
the
Wool Gathering.
Why am I spacing on these guys' names? This is bad. This is why we're not professionals. Yeah. Man, this Karevi. Good God. Karevi and Kurandrani. Mm-hmm. They're both similar styles in their play and in their running. So James O'Connor just provides that extra shift, and Beale does too from center. Right. He's better off there.
Yes. I would love him. As 12. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Start him all day.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the speed and the agility to. He's not running around anybody. He's not running past anybody.
No, not
unfortunately. So I just don't see how that's a 15.
No.
I'm very grumpy about this.
Yeah.
I'm not grumpy about my. Wait, no.
Yeah.
No, but I'm grumpy about
grumpy old prop. Yeah. So yeah, Nicky Goneva probably not a great start for Fiji this week. A lot of players for Fiji probably will be, but probably not
him.
So yeah, we did our pick 'em already, so we don't need to do that.
Nope.
So yeah, email questions in about start sits, all that stuff. We'll give you the best shout that we possibly can.
Yeah, we will be available on the Twitters for questions you guys have. Even
always.
if the pod isn't active, obviously this will be our pod before our last pod before the competition starts. So. Yep. If you have questions, if you have advice you want, and you want to ask us, you're that desperate, we're here.
Oops.
We're here to help.
Yeah, fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com is where you can find us for an email. But yeah, like Ben said, if you want to just get it out on the Twitterverse so the whole universe can
see how awesome we are and how right we are about all of our advice.
And that's why that is why I like putting it out there and like having the conversation about some of this stuff in Twitter as opposed to email, because more people will see it, depending on who's following who, and all it takes is like 2 people to like one of those tweets, and then a lot of people end up seeing it. So there you go.
Yeah, you're helping not just yourself but others. It's very unselfish.
Yes, be unselfish. That's what we encourage around here. So until next time, make sure you sign up for our league, the Fantasy Rugby Yanks, on the Rugby Mag. Get yourself an upgrade. Trust me, it's going to do you a lot of favors. I promise.
It's worth it.
And we will be back next week after all the matches have been played for round 1. So enjoy the opening of the World Cup. We're just as excited as everybody else, even though the U.S. isn't playing in this first go around, but that's okay. We'll be ready for it come next Thursday.
Yeah. More preparations in order for us.
Yeah, for sure. But other than that, thank you very much for listening, guys. We're happy to be back, like we said on the last pod, and it's gonna be a fun year for us, and we're looking forward to it. Have a good one, guys.
Later.
Bye.